The morning sun glimmers over the mist-shrouded peaks of the Caucasus Mountains. This is a land of wild beauty, valleys where untamed horses roam, rivers that carry the laughter of children, and ancient forests that echo with legends whispered for centuries. At the heart of this land, nestled between empires, stood a throne often overlooked by Western history, the Kingdom of Georgia. And on that throne, for nearly 3 decades, ruled a woman whose name would shake the foundations of power and forge an empire, Queen Tamar. Tamar was born around the year 1160, a princess of the Bagrationi dynasty, a family of kings and warriors who had ruled Georgia for generations. From her earliest years, she didn't just walk in the halls of power, she walked in the shadows of war. Her father, King George III, was a fierce warrior king, constantly locked in battle to defend his kingdom from invaders on all sides and to crush rebellions from within. The world Tamar knew was one of steel, strategy, and survival. She wasn't raised on fairy tales, she was raised on war councils. In 1178, her father made a bold and unprecedented move. He declared Tamar his co-ruler, officially naming her heir to the throne. The moment the declaration was made, whispers snaked through the court. The powerful nobles, men who believed power was their birthright, scoffed. "A girl cannot rule men," they murmured. "A woman cannot wield a sword or lead an army." They saw her as a placeholder, a temporary figurehead until a suitable husband could be found to rule in her place. But Tamar was not a girl meant to be silent, nor a woman meant to be a pawn. While the nobles plotted, she prepared. She watched the brutal tactics on the battlefield from the castle walls. She immersed herself in the deep-rooted Christian faith of her people, understanding that spiritual authority was as crucial as military might. She listened, not just to the flatterers but to the whispers of the nobles, learning their ambitions, their fears, and their weaknesses. She wasn't just preparing to share power, she was preparing to claim it, entirely and absolutely. In 1184, King George III died, and the moment of truth arrived. Tamar ascended the throne as the sole ruler of Georgia. Immediately, the storm she had been preparing for broke. The powerful nobles, who saw a lone woman on the throne as an opportunity, closed in. Their demand was simple and, to them, non-negotiable. "Marry a strong man, a man of our choosing, and let him rule." They saw her as a queen in name only, a vessel for a king they would control. They severely underestimated her. Pressured, Tamar agreed to a political marriage. Her first husband was a foreign prince, Yuri Bogolyubsky. The nobles believed he would be their puppet. Instead, he proved to be cruel, ambitious, and unworthy of the crown he now wore beside her. He disrespected Tamar and plotted with her enemies. But where they expected a submissive wife, they found a sovereign queen. Tamar stood her ground. She gathered her loyal supporters, and when the very nobles who had chosen Yuri turned against his tyranny, she did the unthinkable for a woman of her time. She divorced him. She didn't just separate from him, she stripped him of his titles, his power, and threw him out of her kingdom. In an age when royal women were expected to obey their husbands unquestioningly, Queen Tamar showed Georgia and the world that she bowed to no one. Her enemies smirked, believing her weakened and isolated. She simply smiled back, because now she ruled alone, with her own crown, on her own terms. With her authority firmly established, Queen Tamar unleashed a vision for Georgia that would transform it from a beleaguered kingdom into a mighty empire. She understood a fundamental truth that many rulers miss. A great nation is built not just by war, but by culture, faith, and a shared sense of purpose. Her reign would become known as Georgia's Golden Age. First, she secured her power. She wasn't a distant monarch, she was a shrewd leader. She handpicked her generals not based on their noble birth but on their loyalty and skill. She reformed the army, creating a professional fighting force that was disciplined and fiercely devoted to her. With this new strength, she looked beyond her borders. Her armies marched east, conquering the city-states of Shirvan and expanding her influence deep into modern-day Azerbaijan. To the west, she set her sights on the Black Sea coast, liberating strategic territories from the crumbling Byzantine Empire and establishing the Empire of Trebizond, a friendly state that secured her western flank. Her navy, a force her father had started, now swept across the Black Sea, projecting Georgian power. Her cavalry, feared for its speed and ferocity, thundered across the steppes, pushing back nomadic invaders and securing trade routes. Georgia became a regional superpower, its influence stretching from the Caucasus to Anatolia. But Tamar's vision went beyond conquest. She knew that a kingdom's soul was its culture. She became a patron of the arts and sciences. Poets like the legendary Shota Rustaveli flourished under her support, creating his epic, The Knight in the Panther's Skin, a masterpiece of world literature dedicated to her. She commissioned the building of magnificent churches and monasteries, not just as places of worship, but as centers of learning and art. The unique Georgian Christian faith blossomed, becoming a cornerstone of national identity. Her people adored her. They didn't just call her Queen Tamar. In a testament to her absolute authority and wisdom, they gave her the title Tamar Mepe, King Tamar. This wasn't a denial of her womanhood. It was the ultimate acknowledgement of her power. She ruled with the full, unquestioned authority of a king, earning a respect that transcended gender. But even for a queen of legend, the crown is a heavy burden, and storms are never far away. The very power that defined her reign also made her a target. Some of the nobles, the same ones who had underestimated her at the start, now feared her. They saw her centralized authority as a threat to their own feudal privileges and rose in rebellion. These weren't just political squabbles, they were bloody civil wars that tested her resolve. Adding to the chaos, her disgraced ex-husband Yuri returned. Backed by foreign powers and disgruntled nobles, he launched multiple attempts to reclaim the throne by force, plunging the kingdom into further conflict. Beyond her borders, powerful rival empires like the Seljuk Sultanate watched Georgia's rise with envy and plotted to bring the upstart Christian kingdom to its knees. In these moments of crisis, Tamar was no remote ruler hiding in a palace. More than once, she took to the field herself. Dressed in armor, she rode among her troops, her presence a powerful symbol of defiance and courage. She would review her soldiers before battle, her voice ringing out with prayers and encouragement. She sat in war councils with her generals, not as a spectator, but as the commander-in-chief. She prayed beside her priests, leading her nation not just with a sword, but with unwavering faith. Every time darkness threatened to consume her kingdom, Tamar didn't just endure, she shone, emerging from each trial stronger and more revered than before. Queen Tamar, the King of Kings and Queen of Queens, died around the year 1213. She left behind an empire at its zenith, strong, prosperous, and culturally vibrant. But the unity she had forged was fragile, held together by the sheer force of her will. After her death, her realm began to fracture under the competing claims of her children and the renewed ambitions of the nobility. Soon after, the devastating Mongol invasion swept through, and the Golden Age came to a tragic end. Empires rose and fell, dynasties vanished, but the memory of her reign did not. In Georgia today, Tamar is more than a historical figure. She is the eternal symbol of national pride, unity, and strength. She is the queen who united the fractured highlands, who expanded the kingdom to its greatest extent, who championed a cultural renaissance, and who ruled as no woman had before. Though the great empires of the West may have forgotten her name in their history books, the mountains of the Caucasus remember. The rivers that flow from their peaks still whisper her name. The ancient churches she built still sing her praise. Her legacy is not just written in texts, it is carved in stone and lives in the heart of a nation. She claimed her throne when the world told her she could not. She built an empire with a sword in one hand and faith in the other. She ruled with a vision that turned a kingdom into a golden age. If the story of King Tamar moved you, subscribe now and journey with us as we uncover the hidden legacies of the incredible queens who changed the world. Thanks for watching.